Hey, it's Worth Playboy.
And my Playboys Bunny.
Welcome to our podcast where we discuss pickup, game, relationships, and
Sex.
3 rules for dating boss babes. And most guys, we say, just avoid them
Yeah.
because they're going to be a pain in the ass.
But a lot of guys are already dating them.
Oh yeah, and some guys like a challenge.
And a lot of these kinds of girls are kind of hard to avoid in certain circles too.
Exactly, and you might not know she's a boss babe until you get her.
Yeah.
You know, they don't all like shout it from the rooftop online, or
Good point.
or
Good point.
they don't walk around with a lanyard.
Exactly.
I mean, you could, and you never know. You might be surprised. I mean, there are feminine, not many, but there are some feminine attorneys.
Yeah.
I mean, but they've had to work at it, and it's very rare.
Yeah.
But when we talk about boss babes, it can go anything from like you're truly like highly educated corporate girls,
Yeah.
to all the way, and I think they may not even be as bad as the MLM.
Oh my land.
So you kind of have an entire, but any way you go after it where they're a boss babe and they've picked up masculine traits,
Yes.
and especially if they work in a masculine environment like law, where everything's adversarial, you have to negate that.
Yeah.
And they will appreciate you more for it.
It's true.
And so the 3 rules when you're dealing with boss babe, let's say you end up at a bar and she wants to talk, work, or she keeps working her way towards what she does for a living.
And how important it is.
And so the key, number 1 key, when if you already know, is never ask her about her career or work.
Yeah.
It's got to be anything and everything, her pets, her kids, anything and everything, but be completely uninterested.
Yeah.
And most, I mean, just like we tell guys, no girl cares about your job.
Yeah.
That's it. I mean, even if you're an astronaut, there's not really a whole lot you can do. They'll keep them engaged.
Yeah.
But the very first rule that can help you when dealing with a boss babe is to never allow her or never bring it up. And if she keeps moving in that direction, you just interrupt her and try to move it back to something that's more interesting to you.
Right.
Number 2, always treat her like a teenage girl.
Which is really true across the board.
That's a universal rule. But it has even more effect with them.
It does.
Because again, it's refreshing.
Yeah.
And they may not really understand. And what I've seen is there's a hesitation. There's a little bit of like, they get confused at first.
Yeah.
When you're kind of teasing them and they're not sure how to take it.
They're so not used to it.
Yeah, because that's number 3 is teaser. But treating her like a teenage girl or like your little sister.
Yeah.
And teasing her kind of goes hand in hand.
Yeah.
But when you're talking about like treating her like a teenage girl, nothing she says you take seriously.
Right.
You just try to keep her on lighter subjects and not react.
Yeah.
Because sometimes they'll try that. And again, they're used to like being taken seriously and serious topics and their opinions having weight. And none of that matters.
Yeah.
Because they really don't like that. And I think what happens is there's a little bit of a warm-up period when you're dealing with, and I'm talking like in a single meeting.
Yeah.
They are so used to living one way, and then this guy's treating them like a little kid or like a girl, and he's not taking
like his kid sister's best friend.
And it's refreshing, and they haven't had it, and it's what girls prefer.
Right.
At the end of the day, they would rather have that. And I think also, and this even just from working like we do, when you get home, you don't want to be a boss babe.
Right.
You don't want to be in charge of anything.
I'm telling everybody what to do all day long in the gym. That's the last thing I want to do when I get home is have control over anyone ever again.
Exactly. And girl, I mean, but you just have to recognize that there's a little bit of lag time.
Yeah.
If they're just dating around, so they never get to really do this full time.
Right.
You know, they never get to relax and put their feet up and let a man make the decisions and then let them enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
What would you add? Because you, and I don't, and see, I never think of you as a boss babe, even though you actually have, well, because it's never masculinized you. You never,
Right.
It's never, you're always like a girl that does these other things.
Yeah.
You know, as opposed to a boss babe.
Well, I think that's where just me, I never wanted to be masculinized. So even though we're in fitness, I mean, there's a lot of masculine connotations, even just being in this industry.
It's true.
And I'm not like a jazzercise instructor, but, you know, so I think it's like, that's where I'm always being playful with people. I'm always laughing and joking with them. I'm always giggling at their jokes. I'm touching them, you know, like
Yeah.
I'm super hands-on. I go out of my way, you know, to try and keep the feminine stuff.
Well, so
strong.
you can contrast that, because most girls, let's say they're in a corporate environment, they have to suppress that.
But I would say let me balance that with, I mean, I almost went to law school. I really had an interest years before, way before you, in being an attorney, and I don't know necessarily what I would have done with that, if I would have wanted to go into some high power trial kind of thing or something else, but I know that you can do a lot of things with a JD. And I think in that kind of environment, short of wearing feminine suits and always making sure my makeup and hair were done, I think which is already feminized for that industry, you know, I think it would be more difficult to retain any kind of real femininity, you know, unless you stay thin and active and wear feminine clothing, as feminine as you can get away with in that kind of environment. Like we've talked about, you're still essentially arguing for a living. It's an adversarial, hardening kind of industry. And so I think it would have been very difficult, which I think is one of the reasons that I didn't end up kind of going that way. I don't really like arguing. I'm much more like a let's all get along and cheer each other on kind of person. So I think that would have been, I think that's probably why I didn't end up going into it. But even girls who are in it, we even see them in the gym. You can get them giggling, and if you it's a refresher because nobody teases them, no one plays with them, no one doesn't take them seriously, except maybe like the older men.
Yeah.
You know, and I think that's probably going by the wayside slowly but surely also. So make no mistake, no matter how, I would say the most surprisingly feminine woman in our gym is actually a female judge, and she comes in with her husband and she talks to everybody and she gets teased and she teases, and but she is an absolute ball buster.
Oh yeah.
In the court.
Yeah.
I mean like hardcore.
Somehow she's hit that balance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But she keeps herself thin and trim. Of course, she has to wear a robe at work, but when she's not, she wears slim fit suits, nothing that's masculine, colors. She fixes her hair. She does her makeup. She retains as much femininity as you can in that kind of environment.
Right. It was, I'd be interested if she had to actually focus on it or if it came naturally.
I would too. I'd be curious to ask her.
And she's a mom.
Yeah.
Usually, the ladies that seem to hold it best have kids.
Yeah.
That's very interesting. But again, the three things that you can do is never ask her about career.
Yeah.
Treat her like a kid. Treat her like a teenage girl, and then tease her.
Yeah.
So those are the three things to keep it light.
Just don't take it too seriously and enjoy. And remember, you're supposed to be the fun guy.
Yeah.
And that's true whether you're just meeting or whether you're hardcore in a relationship. Like, she wants to date the man that she's with.
Right.
And to do that, you got to kind of have a little levity. In doing that, you will achieve all these things that we're talking about.
And this falls under basic training.
Yeah.
These are the basics, you know, how you treat different types of girls, and there are definitely different types.
Sure.
And the better you can be prepared going in with, and these are basics.
Yeah.
This is basic Playboy stuff, you know, that you kind of learn over time. You either get it passed down to you or you learn it on the ground the hard way. But again, all of these lessons are in basic training 1 and 2.
So good.
And we'll put the link down below.
Yeah.
It's like 100 lessons.
It's 100 between the 2 books. It's 100 lessons.
Yeah.
And it truly is. You call them Playboy, basic training rules, and I would say they are male. Their masculinity.
Yeah.
I mean, they truly do extend beyond wanting to fuck your way around the world.
Exactly.
They are things that you need to know.
All the way down to how to walk down the sidewalk.
Seriously.
All of it matters.
It all matters.
Yeah.
In all things, we want you to win. Bye.